Walter Nash has a wife, a daughter, and a world-class job. Plus, he is at peace with who he is and where he's headed. Then, on the day of his grizzled Vietnam vet father's funeral, the FBI comes calling at midnight and asks a question about his employer, pulling on the thread of that seemingly perfect life. Welcome Matters With. I'm your host, ThisPhillipBrian. Today, we're here to discuss novel matters with you. New York Times bestselling author David Baldacci's latest thriller, Nash Falls, will be released on Tuesday, November 11th of 25. Tax evasion, betrayal, greed, extortion, embezzlement, Vietnam echoes, sex, violence, family drama, kidnapping, revenge, rage of a good man, murder, fetish, and international espionage. This thing is the literary equivalent of an 80s soap opera. And if that's what you're looking for, lots of a lot without depth or weight, despite the convoy of chaos and devastation, this is chaos cotton candy. Don't think, just let it melt. Let the words flow from the page or the audio wrap around you, and hang on for the ride.
Hold on to your butts.
To call Nash Falls a mixed bag may sound trite, but good gosh, it's spot on. In one of the many scenes that reads like an over-explained exposition dump, a rando supporting character says, "This is even more complicated than what we thought." You got that right. I've often called out when a story crosses over from complex into convoluted. Well, Nash Falls blows the doors off a complex, wraps itself in a convoluted mess, and asks you to secure the buckle. Not only are most of these characters about as thin as the air on Everest, the story is out of balance. And speaking of out of balance, the audio engineering is substandard, especially for a top-shelf program like Hachette Audio. Imagine this. Character 1 says, "Don't talk to me that way." "I'll talk to you any way I like. I'm in the FBI. I'll do whatever it takes to bring this operation down." Character 2 replies, "Hear the difference? That's how the audio mix of this novel is. Nash Falls' flaws are amplified by the audio, despite many of the actors giving compelling performances." Now, the question is, do I recommend it? Well, that depends. What are you looking for? I'll tell you this. While most of the characters are not developed and act in ways that make little to no sense, there are exceptions, and those exceptions are compelling. The lead character, Walter, and his father, Tiberius, harbor depth, and even when behaving in a way that is counter to realistic human patterns, they are interesting and hold attention. And there is one character in this novel that burns my ire to the core. I loathed this character. Fans of Ozark hated Wendy. Well, stand back. Wendy has nothing on this character.
Please.
There are endless supporting characters that lack development, a scattershot of stories, and some serious leaps that harbor no logic. No logic. But you know what? Under all that chaos, 7 stories from 7 genres crammed into one package, it's usually entertaining. Again, just don't think too much about it.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
Nash Falls is from Grand Central Publishing. Thank you, Grand Central Publishing, for the review copy. It is 435 pages in hardback, 12 hours and 54 minutes on Audible. It is voice acted and narrated by McLeod Andrews, Christine Lakin, Larry Heron, Shiromi Arcirio, and Will Collier. It will be released November 11th of 25. What's your favorite David Baldacci book? Mine is Strangers in Time. Although, I'd be willing to visit Walter Nash again when he returns and Hope Rises early next year, because like Dynasty or General Hospital once did, sometimes that 80s soap opera chaos melodrama hits the guilty pleasure sweet spot. We'll talk soon.